Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Welcome to another edition of Art Throwdown. It is the May 20th edition, and we're going to wait for some more peeps to hop in here. But in the meantime, for those of you who are just tuning in for the very first time, we meet Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern on Instagram. And these are the recordings of those sessions. So we usually put those up every night after the session is done. So we're usually on here for about an hour. So welcome. I'm just going to let my co-host in here. Here he comes. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing well. Is that a what? Is that a file? What is that?
These are some of the tools of the trade.
Ooh, all right. Very neat. And I see we have a few folks who popped in here. We've got Jim, snail mail for Zoe. Let's see, Ashley joined. Hey guys, good evening.
So what are you working on tonight?
Well,
Let me guess, a postcard.
yes, and I am making a postcard that looks kind of knitted because one of my swap pals on SwapBot sent me all of these pieces of paper with like knitting on it, and I'm like, this needs to become a postcard. So, hey Pam, so I'm going to make a postcard, and this is going to be a big letter postcard. So originally, I was going to try to pre-print some letters using PowerPoint like we talked about last night. I'm going to try freehand. I've got my trusty pencil here, and we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to wing it and see how that works. And if it doesn't, I can always double back and try to print that out later. So I'm going to try
Well,
some experimenting here.
Phil has joined. Welcome, Phil.
Hey, Phil. All right.
So I've got a couple of things tonight. Uh, First, Ashley has asked me if I could explain a couple of things from the um, bingo book.
Oh,
So I'm going to highlight those. And then I'm going to probably start doing watercolors. So,
cool.
yeah. So that's what you see in front of you right here. Hipsters joined, welcome.
Hey, Nan.
Um, so these are some of the tools of the trade when you're dealing with books, especially if you're working with ribbons or elastic bands. And this is a chisel, right? And you always want to get a chisel that is the size of your ribbon. Okay, so that matches that like that.
Can you pull it up a little bit? Okay. Oh, so it's
Yeah,
the width of the chisel has to match the width of the ribbon.
correct,
Okay.
correct. And so Jen has joined. Welcome, Jen. And then you have a mallet or a hammer. I have this rubber mallet that I use for other purposes in bookbinding, so I use it. And then you have this pad. This is just a bunch of old bookbinder board that is wrapped together, and this is what and you can see some of the markings here, is what you actually pound into, so you don't ruin your table or all the things that you're working on your surfaces.
Got it.
So
Oh.
um, so those are the tools. I'm gonna put those away. So this is just another bingo card. I mismeasured this one, so this is just a scrap. So here you can see where I chiseled the hole for the ribbons to feed through. Okay, so that's what that is. And then Ashley was asking how I secured the ribbon to the underside of the card. And so that's what I wanted to demonstrate. So what you do is you take some kind of marking tool and you mark the just outside of the ribbon, right? So a little bit wider than the ribbon, and then some predetermined distance from the edge. And so, for sakes and purposes here, we're just going to go here. Okay, so that is the area that I'm going to end up insetting this ribbon. Okay, and here's the fun part. The way that you get the ribbon to lie flush is that you remove some of this board so that it lies flat. And so all you do is you take your X-Acto knife or scalpel in my case, and you just score that box that you just drew. Okay. And you don't want to go too deep, but you want to go deep enough to where you're going to remove some of the layers of this board. Okay. So I just inscribed this box, and then you take your tip and you just dig into the board and you just remove a couple of layers of this board until when by hand touch, you can feel that this is level of the board. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you didn't do it deep enough the first time, you just go back and just incise again. And then you repeat, and you just take out a couple layers at a time until you get the depth that you need.
So it's a very gradual process. You don't want to go hacking into that by any
Exactly.
stretch. You don't want to ruin your back of your cover.
Right. So, and then what you would do is you would simply cut the ribbon to size, and then you would just glue it down. Now, the other thing is that when you work with the chisel, you're going to get what's called a bloom. Okay. And that's where the chisel goes to through the other end. And you see the little buildup there where the chisel has come through the back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's called the bloom. And so what you want to do is you want to take your hammer once your ribbon has been fed and you've gotten the distance, you just take your hammer and you just flatten down. You don't even have to bang. You can just press it down like that. And that's going to reduce the bloom.
It's going to be something going to flatten it back out.
Exactly.
And now, Russ, what type of glue would you recommend to put the ribbon into that little scored area?
I do what is called PVA, which is straight glue.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that it's just your straight glue, because when you're dealing with paper, you have what we call a mix, which is glue and some other mixture. So, but this is just whenever you're working with just board, you just do straight glue. So that's how you would do that, and that's how you attach it to the top. Now, the fun part is that you can make this ribbon as decorative as possible. So on some of these, I go all the way out to the center, right? So that the ribbon becomes part of the cover and the design of the cover. So here I just did it on the edge, but like I would do one there, I would do one like to there, and the third one all the way out to here. So the ribbon becomes part of the cover. And that's how you can make the ribbon part of the decorative element of your cover.
Super cool. And Ashley says that is very helpful. Yes, it is.
Okay, cool.
Thank you for that. All right.
And then some of you may have seen this today. This was my big letter card.
Now, how did you get that picture with all the folks with the masks on it? Did you print that, or did you find that somewhere?
It was the Instagram.
Okay.
And I just copied it and then just printed it out.
That is cool.
Now, yeah, and this is a transparency, so you don't have to do anything special. You don't have to do anything fancy. You can work with what you have. I guess it was the point that I was trying to make. Is that you can work with what you have and still meet these challenges. The only thing I will say is that you want the ink to be on the underside when you're working with the transparency.
Okay. Because
when you seal it, the ink will smear. So what you have to do is you have to actually work in reverse. So the actual lettering was flipped, so I can print it on the underside of transparency, so that when I actually turned it over, it's the right side up.
Aha. So you printed those letters on that.
On the transparency, yeah.
On the transparency. And did you use an laser jet, inkjet? Like, what was your method?
Well, the transparencies are built for inkjet printers, but I use the laser anyway. So because it's going to be sealed, so there's not going to get any moisture to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really matter.
Got it.
And the thing about these printable transparencies is they have a rough surface, which is what the toner and the ink adhere to. So you just want to be careful that you're printing on the correct side, because there is a smooth side and then there is a rough side, and you want to always print on the rough side of these.
And it gets very smeary if you accidentally print it on the smooth side, right?
It does. It won't stick at all.
Got it. So you basically just end up with gobs of printer ink
Yeah.
on there. Got it. And Mail Some Smiles just joined. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
And then this was the image. I did a couple sizes. This is the 5x7, so I'm going to make a couple more of them because I was playing with dimension, and so that's how it works. And the nice thing too is that I have some offcuts that, for example, I hate to throw anything away. So this was a postcard that didn't print well enough. So and so I like the back. So what I was going to do is I was going to actually do this like that and then keep the back. And then this is just misprinted ink as well. And so what I'll do is that's where I'll place the washi so that I can still use this for something. Because what normally would be thrown away can now be used again.
And now, Russ, is that a special type of transparency paper that you're using that's just for printers, or what type of paper? Nan wants to know what paper that is.
These are just transparency. It's transparency films that school teachers use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's made for printers, and you can get it at Staples.
Cool. Okay, so you can
Yeah,
still buy them at Staples. That's awesome.
yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Anna. Good evening. All right. Oh, I like that. I love how it's so shiny and glossy looking. The layers look
Well,
fabulous.
what I wanted to do is I'm trying to find some mirror paper that's transparent, because the idea was I wanted you to be able to see yourself in the reflection so that you realize that you are the hope. Not only are these
Ah,
people behind in the background the hope, but you're the hope as well.
very
So I'm
cool.
still working on that because I wanted to be like a mirror image so that when you look at the postcard, you see your own reflection. And then Phil asked, how do you glue it? You just glue it. I use my Xyron machine, but you can just use spray adhesive or any other spray. Or any other, you can use Mod Podge as well, but you just want to be careful with Mod Podge because it can get cloudy.
Very cool. Jim just said he just finished another coloring page. Bravo.
Jim, I'm still so bummed that you haven't received your coloring book yet. So I'm thinking what happened, it may have been sent by mistake by a media mail. So I'm hoping you're still going to get it.
So are you making, is that a leaf?
It is. It's a Monstera leaf. So this is from that coloring book that I showed you. And just for illustrative purposes, I just picked a big image that's full of space so I can just demonstrate what I'm going to do. Today, we're going to work with the Caran d'Arche water-soluble pencils or crayons. So that's what we're going to work on today because
I
this is my
cannot wait to
preferred
watch.
method.
I'm excited to watch this, and luckily, like, my postcard is low maintenance here, so I can kind of watch what you're doing. I am fascinated by this new
Well, the thing is that this is
material here.
so easy. The thing about this is you're just coloring. To first off, you're just adding color to the page like you're coloring in a coloring book with crayons.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
the exact same thing. And then I'm going to show you how to blend and then some of the tricks of the trade.
And can you remind us again what brand of watercolor crayon you're
This is
using?
the Caran d'Arche.
Caran d'Arche. Okay. And they're called
These are water-soluble wax pastels.
Water soluble wax pastels. All right, I'm
And they
writing
come in
this
different
down.
kits. This is the largest kit, I think, it's the 30,
Mm-hmm.
but they come in 8s and 12s, so they are a little on the expensive side, but they'll last you forever. So you know,
And so, Russ, like technique wise, you're planning to use it as a regular crayon, and then later you're going to wet a brush and kind of smooth it out into like watercolor looking layers. Is that your plan?
exactly. That's exactly going to be it. You're going to layer color like you would do with the crayon. And then you'll introduce water to blend everything.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. I
And
can't wait
I
to
always
watch.
work from just like layered crayons and layered pencils. I always work light to dark. You don't want to add too much because you always add dark later, but you can't take it away. So when you're layering, that's what you want to keep in mind.
All right.
So I'm probably going to do a 3 or 4 layer colored layer on this leaf. And so I'm just going to just start, and you can start doing your thing as well.
All right. But I'm still going to be watching you because I find this fascinating. I'm watching. No, I'm going to. All right. So luckily, mine is, like I said, mine is like easy peasy paper scraps. So all I have to do is figure out where these are going to lay on the postcard, and away we go. All right. Hopefully I don't have camera issues tonight. Oh, nope. It's staying. Okay, good. Good. It's staying. All right, and I've got my trusty glue sheet here, and I'm using Big Uhu tonight. This is the jumbo size one. It feels like maybe one night we all just, Russ and Allison asks our questions. What? Do we ask you guys, or are you asking us?
I think he means that he wants us to answer questions.
Q&A, man, Q&A.
I think that's not to speak for you. Oh,
But isn't that what we always do? No. There's always lots of Q&A on here. It usually gets pretty lively. No, but Q&A is good. It's good. So I guess my question out to you guys, what is everybody working on tonight? You guys were just watching? Are you working on a coloring page maybe? Are you making a postcard? Are you knitting something? Are you doodling? Working in a journal? Phil says he's just watching. That's cool. Ah, so Russ does one project and gets very hands-on with it. I see what you're asking, Phil. And then I would ask the questions on Russ's specific project. Aha. Okay. Yeah, I think we could probably do that too at some point.
or I think what he means is that you would be the interpreter. So
Yes.
as they're asking questions, texting you the questions, you would ask them to me as I'm doing the project.
Yes, that's what I'm interpreting that as well. Yes. Ooh, this
Nan
one
is
is
working on
blue.
her big letter postcard. Cool. But mostly just watching.
Awesome.
Welcome, Zoe.
Hey, Zoe.
Um, Pam is finishing more cards. I just, I tip, I know I don't want to seem like I'm having favorites here, but I just really do admire what Pam is doing with those cards and the joy that she brings with her cards to those, first respond or those essential workers. So Pam, props to you. My hat's
Yes.
off to you.
That is
I
a
mean, I told her
beautiful
that last
thing.
night via message, but I just want to say that publicly.
Yes. No,
Crafting
definitely.
Lisa has joined. Welcome.
Hello. Yeah, and honestly, since if you guys want to ask Russ questions on what he is doing down there or anything else, I've kind of got my camera angled so that I can actually see it. I can see the questions popping through tonight. Look at that.
So, and that's it. I'm done. No.
Boom, done. It's like, okay, we're done. Craft
So,
time's over.
yeah, and I chose this particular page for a reason. Is just that so there's not a whole lot to do. But what I've done is I simply layered 4 colors of greens. I start off with this yellow, and what I tend to do is do the centers, the lighter, and work from dark to light towards the center. Then I did this lime green. Then I did this olive green. And then I did this dark green. Okay. And then I keep those colors to the side, and I'll put the pan away because I probably won't introduce any other colors than these.
Okay.
And then in this particular case, I use regular watercolor brushes. These are my go-to. So I have 2 rounded brushes. One is for big areas. Like this one, I would do this one for backgrounds. This is a medium rounded brush. And then this is a square brush. And this is good for small corners and tight corners.
So are you, Russ, are you using multiple brushes on this particular piece?
I will probably use 2 or 3 brushes.
Okay.
Yeah. But because this is such a large area, the larger brushes help.
Got it.
As opposed to like the water brush that you and I like to use.
Yes. And it's got the little
Because it's so
sponge blotter.
small,
Yeah.
you know, and I would have to replenish a whole bunch. So I like using these just regular brushes.
Got it.
So as you can see, all I'm doing right here is I'm just introducing water and just moving the color around. And I'm not worrying about fine details yet. Frank has joined. Hello, Frank. Welcome.
Hey, good evening.
Frank did a shout out for us to his followers, introducing the craft hour.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Pam, do we have an extra guest with us tonight, or are you crafting on your own? It's an inside joke between Pam and I. I think it's
Okay.
I think it's her granddaughter maybe that likes to listen to us talk before she goes to bed at night.
Are you serious? Oh, well, okay. Well, we will definitely, knowing that, we will definitely aim to keep this G-rated for future. And obviously, you know, we're putting the recordings up on YouTube. So
Yeah. No, I think she's
posterity.
a wee one, so I don't think that she would know any better. But
It's
apparently
just the mama bear in me. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
there's a little one maybe in the background. Like, let's keep it
But
G.
apparently, what happened last night is that she burst into Pam's room, or crafting room, with her iPad, and saying
Oh,
she wants to. Where's Mr. Russ? I think is what she said.
that is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Hello,
Aw.
Dana. Welcome.
Hey, Dana's back. Hello, hello. And by the way, I noticed Pam has a thing for Audrey Hepburn. I noticed, I think I saw a picture. Pam sent me a picture of her craft studio. It is absolutely gorgeous. So you have definitely given me some craft room goals, Pam. I'm just going to say.
Well,
One
Pam used to
day.
host her own YouTube channel.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Ah. Because I was like, man, that craft room looks like something you could almost broadcast from.
Yeah. No, she was. Yeah. I miss those days, but yes, her room is awesome.
Got it. Okay, well, that makes sense then. That makes sense.
Okay, so Araya is not listening tonight, so we can be as inappropriate as we want.
Oh gosh. Okay. Okay. And then wait, somebody had a question. I'm sorry, I'm going back up here, peeps. I think it was Nan. What is a good brand? So, Nan, did you mean what is a good brand of paintbrushes for watercolors? I think this was when we were talking about the brushes, maybe. So, on that topic, oh, hey, Landy. Russ, what brand, do you by chance know what brand those watercolor
Well, here's
paintbrushes
my
are?
thing about brushes.
What's that?
I say if you're not going to take care of them, buy the brushes that you can afford. So the idea is that, don't go spending a whole bunch of money on good brushes unless you're doing like acrylics or oils and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy those multi-pack brushes um, that are somewhat almost disposable. Um, if you're going to go up to a different level, then you can invest in brushes, but just get what you can afford, to be quite honest with you. Um, the more expensive the brushes, the more that you're going to have to take care of them because they become an investment.
Mm.
Um, so I have all variety of brushes, um, simply because I like having a little variety.
And I want to say I got a multi-pack of brushes once from like Walmart maybe, and it was in their craft section, and it came with a whole bunch of different sizes and shapes of brush, and I think there were some foam ones in the pack at the time. So you know, if you want to splurge at the Walmart, I think it's like $4.97 and you get like a big multi-pack of them.
Yeah, and most of those kind of stores are going to have brushes. And the only thing I recommend is, depending upon what you're using them for, is you always want to wet them and then pull out any loose um, bristles, because you don't want that ending up in your project.
That's true. That's another good tip. Oh, Anna recommends the brushes from IKEA. That is also good to know.
If we're doing daily true confessionals, I have never been to an IKEA.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we need to get you some IKEA. I'm just saying. At some point, and I know there's at least one in the greater New York area. There might be one in New Jersey.
It's Jersey, I think.
Yeah, that it's it's a day trip, but it's a really just fun day trip. Yeah, it's one of those stores like you'll either love it or you'll hate it, but you have to experience it at least once. At least
Phil
once.
says don't go because I'll spend a lot of money.
Well, and it's I love looking at the demos and the how they, you know, set up like inspiration design setups so you can kind of get some ideas about how to lay out your space. And yes, Landy, I agree. It's like Disney for adults. It's quite fun.
Frank says it's in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Ah, thank you. Oh yes, and they have Swedish meatballs. So it has
A food court?
there's a food court. Most
Oh my
IKEAs
gosh.
have it. Yes, you must go. You get Swedish meatballs. You can get like I think they give you there's like a 99-cent hot dog maybe, and like there's a bunch of other things on the menu that are very reasonably priced, and a lot of them are Swedish type themed foods. And then they have like a packaged goods section where you can get these amazing cookies. I don't know if they still have them. It's been a few years since I've bought them, but they were like two butter cookies and there was like some Swedish preserve spread sandwiched in between of them. Like they were amazing, 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 amazing. So hopefully they still exist because they were really good.
Pam says that her craft room is primarily IKEA.
Ah, Pam, maybe sometime you can give us a full tour of your craft room. Just saying. And you can say no. Feel free to say no. But now you've just got me super curious. Super curious.
If I'm going to do a store like that, I'm much going to probably go to Muji instead.
I love Muji also.
Yeah.
Now, the only Muji I will say in the New York area that I've ever been to is the one in like LaGuardia. So, or was it JFK? Shoot, I forget. It's one of those two. I think it's JFK, maybe. But so is there a bigger Muji store in New York?
There's one in Times Square.
How have I missed this? All
Yeah, it's like on
right.
41st, 40th or 41st, somewhere around there.
And like, how large of a store are we talking?
Oh, we're huge.
Okay, bucket
Yeah.
list. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I know where I'm going the next time I'm in the city.
So as you can see here, all I've done is just laid out color. And then what you can do is what I like to do is I like to take the crayon, dip my brush in water, and then put color on the brush this way. And then you can add color.
Got it. So on that edge where
A
there's
more
maybe not as
right,
much, you
right.
can
And
kind
you
of
can add a
patch.
concentrated color. And that's the beauty of doing it this way. And then that's
Cool.
how you start getting into some of your highlights. Rather than reintroduce the crayon. Because as you can see here, it was a little hard to see, but once you introduce a pointed surface, you can get these lines. And that's what I'm going to go through and start blending out. And I'll get there eventually. And that's pretty much it. And then what I would do is once this is dry, I would go and introduce colored pencil, which I may do tomorrow to add more definition once this is dry.
Looking good. Yeah, I like the yellow. And it's 10:30. I don't hear your neighbors yet.
They're there. They're moving around. It's just they don't have the music on, so maybe it's just her right now.
Sorry. So here's my knitting so far, and
Oh, that's cool.
I have this is the knitting paper that my spot pal sent me. I've got a bingo, so like I don't know. I'm feeling the bingo. I think bingo needs to go on there too. Bingo flower. So why not? Yeah, this thing is crazy knitting. I don't know. Each and every one of these knitting patterns is a little loud and a little wild on its own, and you put them all together, and it's like knitting pattern explosion. And you know, for the first time today in like weeks, I actually went outside and I took a walk. I know that sounds crazy, but I haven't been out of the house like that in a while. Quite a while. I got some sun. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm actually outdoors.
Now,
Hooray.
did you go by yourself or with the kids?
Oh nope, just by myself.
Cool.
I had to go pick up a book at the library because they just started doing like a curbside pickup thing. And then I decided since I just threw the book in my backpack and I just started walking around town It was fun. And it was sunny and the sun was hot. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot what it was like being outside. It was amazing.
We had sun, but it was a little coolish because it was cloudy and there was a lot of wind today here in the Bronx.
All right, so there's bingo right there. And then, I mean, as if that wasn't enough, look, I've got a paper doily. So I think the doily is going to go down here on the bottom. And then I'm going to work on my hand lettering. So I'm like channeling my 99-year-old grandma right now, just saying. We're channeling Nana. We are.
I'm sure there could be worse people you could be channeling, right?
Like, yeah, we're going to channel some definite, like, my grandma vibe here. Grandma vibe.
Was she a knitter or crocheter?
So my other grandma was, right? So my Nana, who lived to be just shy of 99, was the bingo-holic. Like, it
Oh,
was
got it.
all bingo all day. So we went on these crazy bingo bus tour trips, like, across the state of New York. And as an 11-year-old kid, like, I won tons of money as a kid, and I bought, like, my first computer with it. Like, it was a whole thing. Like,
And I'm sure everyone hated you. All those old ladies hated you, I'm sure.
the first time I won, they're like, "Wow, that little girl won $500 on the bullseye. That's great." And then, like a couple weeks later, the same bus tour, they regrouped and they're like, "Okay, we're going back up." It was like Messina, New York. They're like, "We're going back up to Messina," which is just outside of like the Canadian border, I think. But anyway, we went up to Messina, and it was down to the very last game, and I hadn't won anything as of yet. And then at the end, they had a coverall, and they're like, "Okay, the coverall jackpot was something crazy like $2,000, which back in this was the late '80s, I think. Yeah, it must have been the very tail end of the '80s. Like that was, to win that as a jackpot prize was a huge deal.
Well, that's a huge deal today. What are you talking about?
Right. And as a kid, I was like, oh my
Right.
God. But then, unfortunately, I think like 3 people won that jackpot, and I was one of the 3. And people were just like looking at me like, wait, what? And my grandma was like, well, I'm going to go claim the prize on your behalf. I was like, okay, thanks, Nana. So she did. True story. But yeah, I
So,
bought my
Pam,
first
yes,
computer
I'm
with
going to be
it.
doing watercolors for the rest of the week.
Yay. Oh, and I forgot to show you guys Captain Cheapo here. Look at these. I got my Applecraft going on. I've got some purple. This came from Amazon, and these were less than $1. Look, I got Concord Grape. These are my new acrylics. And I got a gloss. This one is called Bright Green. So I got these off Amazon, and then since I've got Prime, most of these were less than $1. So I got a whole bunch of these. Of course, they're coming on different days, but I also got, these were nice and deliciously cheap off Amazon. I got these geometric pattern stencils, plastic ones. So now I can finally use my Jelly Arts jelly plate? I think that's what it's called, my jelly plate. The kids keep calling it the jelly roll, but it's a jelly plate. And we are going to play with some ink sprayers and some acrylics this week. So look at all these geometric patterns. So I'm very excited about that.
Seashell in the Desert has joined. Welcome.
Very cool. I like your username, by the way. What a cool username. So yeah, I think that's my frontier for later this week is to play with these acrylics and the ink brayer. I have not gotten to the watercolors yet, though, and I feel bad because that was on my list to tackle this week also at Pam's request. So, but the week is young. We're only, 3 days in? So there's still time.
Well, we'll only do this for 5 days, so we're halfway there. What you talking about?
There's still 2 days, man. We got a couple days. So maybe one day I will attempt watercolors, and then the other day I will attempt some jelly painting with my new new to me ink brayer. Actually, I got it on clearance, I think, for, I don't know, $1 one time. It was one of those Hobby Lobby clearance things where it was just crazy. crazy cheap. So here's the background of my knitted postcard. I think more or less that's what this is going to look like. And then I'm going to try to work on some hand lettering here in parallel.
Oh, Jennifer finally finished the card for the 10-year-old.
Awesome.
Now, Jennifer, is this a special kind of card? Is it a pop-up or anything like that? Or
And Khadija just joined. Hello, welcome. Welcome to Art Throwdown. For those of you folks who are just tuning in, we meet Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern every night. We've been doing this now for, Russ, I've lost count of how many weeks we've been doing this for. But
I have as well.
I want to say, is it possible this has been since late March?
I want to say we're like 6 weeks into it, maybe?
Or like early April, maybe? Like the very, very beginning of April? I don't know. I'm going to have to go back through some of my old posts and see if I can place it. I'm just curious. Yeah, we've been meeting now here for a few weeks. All right, so I have this brush pen. I'm going to attempt to use my brush pen and see how this goes.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Do it on a scrap piece of paper first.
Yes.
Because lettering never goes like you expect it to on the item that you're working on.
Truth.
It's a collage stamp, a pizza theme. Oh, that's cool. That's fun.
Ooh.
For Jennifer's 10-year-old.
Collage stamp. That sounds fun. I keep finding these stamp sets, clear stamp sets. There's two different companies so far that I've seen that make them, but they have boba tea clear stamps, and it's like the little bubble tea container, and it's got the bubble pearls, the tapioca pearls, and like little happy kawaii like creatures. Oh my gosh, I keep finding these clear stamp sets, and I'm like, I think I need these.
Are you a bubble tea person?
Yes.
Because I'm not.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it texture? Is it flavor? Like,
it's the tapioca.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you can get it without the tapioca in it, right?
I don't. But
Okay, just so you know, you can
yeah.
get it actually without the tapioca. Now, they also have jellies, different flavors of jelly. So I don't know if any of you guys have tried coffee jelly. That is a thing in bubble tea shops, and I found that it actually pairs pretty well if you get like a green tea bubble tea, and you can get it without the pearls, and you can get it with the flavored jellies. And some of the other flavors of jelly are there's like a lychee one, there's mango, there's a strawberry. I mean, a lot of fruity type flavors that you can get in there. So I'm just saying, Russ, you have options, like in case
Jim said he finished his
you.
first coloring page in April, but he didn't date it. He just wrote April 2020. So
I think it was the first week of April.
it may be.
I'm gonna have to take a look back in my photo roll here and just see. But yeah, I think 6 weeks is probably right.
Somebody's got homework.
I know. Keep giving myself more homework.
Jen says that she asked for no tapioca.
Oh yeah, you can ask if you don't like the tapioca. You can just say no, thank you. And there's different types of the tea. So you can either get the milk tea, which is just like the tea mixed with the whatever milk you choose, either whether it's regular dairy or some of them mix in like different plant-based milks. But you could also get it blended with ice. And so it's kind of like it's kind of the consistency of if you've ever had one like a Dunkin' Donuts Coolata. So you could get it that way as well. So usually the more established bubble tea, well, establishments have a lot more like drink options and flavors.
Phil called you a professional boba expert.
Yes.
I don't know what that means.
So I don't know why, but I got hooked on bubble tea on
Oh,
boba back in the mid 2000s when I was living in DC, and they had a bunch of shops down there. So that was kind of my first introduction to it, and I have been hooked ever
so
since.
boba is the abbreviation for bubble tea.
Yeah, it's another term for it. They call it
Got
either
it.
bubble
Okay.
tea or boba tea. Yep.
Okay. Got it.
Yep,
Cool.
yep.
Learn something new every day.
That's why we're here. But yeah, I would say the power combo for me is get like a green tea matcha. You can either do milk tea or get it with the ice blend. I prefer the ice blend. And then have them put the coffee jelly in it. For some reason, and I like both things in real life. I love matcha tea and I love coffee. Like those are my two other than water, like those are my two go-to drinks. That's pretty much all I drink. And oh my God, when you mix those two things together as like a flavor combo, it is just off the chain delicious.
I'm not a coffee drinker. I've never been. Even when I was in the Navy, I never drank coffee.
Really?
Yeah. So you're going to hook Phil up here because he says he's not a boba drinker either, but with all these options that you're suggesting, he's going
Yes.
to revisit the options.
Yeah, a lot of it depends on what you prefer. So if you go, sometimes like I'm trying to think here in the Boston area, like if you go to some of the Vietnamese restaurants, they will have that as an option. But if you're in a larger city, sometimes if you find like a freestanding, like standalone shop that just has bubble tea, usually the menus are much larger. So you can either go with milk tea or, or especially I would think Phil out on West Coast. I know the LA area has a bunch of them as well. So the menus are absolutely massive. And so you can get them with, gosh, all different types of tea. You can do a black tea, a white tea, oolong tea, a green tea. And then obviously within each of those are lots of different varieties. So the green tea you might get jasmine or you might get sencha or there's a bunch of different types.
Now,
So
where did bubble tea originate? Is this a Vietnamese thing or is it an Asian thing or is it?
Asia, and that's probably another homework item to figure out what specific country it originated from. But it is definitely like an Asian or Southeast Asian like culinary trend that
See, I
made
thought
its way
it was
here.
more Vietnamese, to be quite honest with you. I do know that a lot of the Chinese places here sell it, but I think it's only because we don't have a big Vietnamese section here.
I'm just
Um,
reading back through the
but
comments here.
but I'm thinking, I was wondering, I don't remember when I was in Korea. I don't remember it in Korea, so I don't know.
Yeah, so Phil doesn't like the bubbles, the tapioca pearls either. But yeah, like I said, you have options. You can just tell them don't put anything else in, and then you get yourself a really nice like milk tea latte. You get the tea, you get the milk, and it's a good blend. Ashley's never had it. Now she's interested. Go get it. Go get it. Go get some. I recommend it. K Town, yep, K Town in LA has it. I've been there on travel once. Thai iced tea is also good. Jennifer likes that one. That one's good as well. Sawtelle Boulevard. Yes. There's probably quite a few places I would think in the LA area that have it. Oops.
Giddy joined in. Oh my gosh, welcome, Giddy. Welcome. Giddy is in Germany.
Oh my goodness. So I have to ask you, Giddy, what time is it in Germany right now? It is 10:50 p.m. here in the US. So I'm guessing you guys are like 7 hours ahead. So is it like 6 a.m. there? I'm guessing now. Now I'm just guessing.
Giddy drives a train. She's a
No.
train conductor.
Like a commuter rail train or like a
Yep.
freight train?
No, commuter rail.
Okay, so that is my dream retirement job. Someday, oh my gosh, it's 4:51 a.m. in Germany. My gosh, well, you are committed. Thank you so much for joining us and good
She's
morning.
well, I
Good
think she's
morning to
probably getting
you.
ready to go to work.
Okay. Well, good morning to you. Um, I someday, I keep telling people someday when I retire, I'm going to move back down to DC and I'm going to be the person that drives the metro train and I'm going to make like the crazy announcements. I'm going to be that train conductor someday. Because I just like trains. I like trains a lot. Always have. So Russ is using his his professional art hair dryer.
It's Anita's art
Anita's.
stamp.
Wait. That's a brand? I've never heard of that brand.
Yeah.
Anita's Art Stamps. It's an embossing tool. Okay. I have never heard of that brand before. Interesting.
Yeah, they do a series of embossing powders. And so this is the heat tool you use for the embossing powder. Um,
Ah, gotcha. Got it.
oh, so Jennifer, you had to go there. You had to ruin a perfectly good evening. Jennifer is asking about the bouquet.
Oh no. Do you want to, are you ready to talk about it?
I mean, it's fairly good news. So, you know, so I'm in negotiations with the second bride, and it looks as if she is going to take the bouquet. I'm going to swap out a couple. So I had to unassemble it, deconstruct it, I guess, and just change out a couple of the larger flowers, which is not going to be a problem. Um, and to make it a color that's more amenable to her color palette. But so I think it's a go. I just have to show her the two new flowers that I'm going to add. We'll either add to it or
Well, can I just say hallelujah? I am happy that at least it's going to a bride. Maybe not the original, but at least you didn't make it for nothing.
yeah. Well, I mean, I got paid for it regardless. So now it's
Right.
just trying to do something that's morally right for all the parties concerned, kind of thing.
Yeah?
So I just got a little ticked off with the second bride because she tried to negotiate the price. I'm like, look, you're getting this thing for half off,
Yeah.
anyway. And I'm gonna try to, accommodate your color palette by adding a couple of flowers, you know, uh, and I'll have to rewrap it in ribbon and things like that. But so Jennifer, the long answer is that the second bride is probably going to get it. She's going to get it at a cut rate, which so she'll still be saving money. She would try to save a little bit more money, but I'm like, look, I'm already saving you half. of the price. And so
So I assume the first bride is she's just kind of moved on from this.
she's not going to have a ceremony. She's going to have. I mean, she's going to have a ceremony. She's not going to have a wedding.
But it's going to be like
So,
the small eloping thing, so she
e-
just doesn't need flowers then.
exact. Well, yeah, she doesn't need anything. They she was trying to get a dress and all that kind of stuff, and it was just like everyone. This was her explanation. Everyone was conspiring against her. So
Oh my God.
it's just that we
Whew.
tried to explain to her, and her family tried to explain to her. And it's just, it's her dad that was just all apologetic and everything. He's just like, he told her, says, honey, it's just that this is all last minute, and we can't expect everyone to be able or have the ability to drop everything they're doing to
Right.
accommodate this truncated schedule. And
Yeah.
so it's not that they're not conspiring. It's that he said he was very thankful that we even considered it, kind of thing. So
I mean,
so
I
his
feel like
head
you've been over backwards for them as
yeah,
well.
and the
So,
his and the mother's on both sides, got it. They understood it, and I think it's going to end up in a good place for everybody. So it's just a matter of finishing it and getting it done.
nice. So I'm happy for you. I'm glad at least, you have a buyer on the other end who, you know, seems motivated to get a flower bouquet.
Yeah. So I know. So Phil, thank you for saying that. It's just the thing is that I have to be able to look at myself at the end of the night in the mirror and like the reflection that I see. So that's why I try to make things happen for people, so that everyone comes out of it as a winner. They may not be, as happy as they would have liked to have been, but they're still a lot better off than if I didn't accommodate them. Nan
True.
says she's surprised that the groom hasn't backed out, and and I agree. I just think that he realizes too that he just needs to get through this, and that he knows the person underneath all of this, and that's the person that he loved or loves, I should say. So I think he's just willing to overlook this and see it for what it is, and good on him. You know,
Yeah.
we have 2 minutes left, by the way.
My goodness.
I know.
My goodness.
Yeah. Uh, and so
It always goes so fast.
it does. It does. So Giddy says good night. Her shift is starting. So
Enjoy driving that
yeah,
train. I'm jealous. I want to
yeah.
drive the train in Germany.
So my standard goodbye is we know you have options of where to be on a weeknight, and we thank you for joining us and following along and participating and doing all the things that you do. It makes my night to know that you're out there following along and enjoying each other's and our company. So
Thank you,
I just want to
guys.
say thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell your friends. Yeah, Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern. We're here every night. We've got quite a few regulars that are on here. So, to our regulars in particular, thank you guys for being here all the time. It's kind of crazy that you guys have consistently been here. That blows my mind, but it's a cool thing. It's a great thing. So, thank you. Have fun, and we will see you again tomorrow night with more crafts, more art
More
stuff.
watercolors for me.
I'm going to get to it, man. I'm getting there. Sometime this week, we're going to do some watercolors on my end, too. So we'll see. Bye, guys. Have a great night.
Have a great night. Thank you.